So I don't want people to think that I'm a hypocrite or that I disrespect powerful medicine, but I don't advocate for the use of psychedelics. I think that they are, there are studies that are saying that they're useful for certain kinds of depression, especially the depression people have at end stage, like cancers and things like that, people facing death. The practices that I'm working on now, um, basically trigger those parts of the brain without the use of a chemical. It's visualization practices, sensory practices, learning to trigger your senses without there being an object for the senses so that you can look at the illusory nature of the senses themselves. Now, we live in America where the tradition has been. There is a widespread tradition in which it is a requirement to use peyote once in your life. In my case, that was when I was like a very young child. Um, it happened right here. It was my great grandmother decided that that would happen. And it was, I was not old enough to know the difference between reality and what was happening. And it was an incredibly strong experience because it was my first experience with a psychedelic. And then later people wanted to suppress that and make it a secret and things like that. And a lot of people said at the time that it was a really mean thing to do to somebody that young, that didn't have the opportunity to make the experience part of their character. So I don't think that I've ever done it ever since then. But I've had experiences at powwows where I've had experiences here after COVID where I'm not sure that everyone I spoke to and talked to was visible to everyone else around me. That is a substance that is so powerful that you actually manifest entire people. That typically doesn't happen on the party drugs. So that is something that you can do with the meditation practices without a substance, through breathing exercises, through making your these breathing exercises and meditation and visualization practices and getting to know your brain are on a par or superior to peyote, which is the pinnacle of psychedelics. That you can manifest these things. That's why you got to get good at completion stage before you get too good at creation stage. You have to know how to terminate a meditation before you can get that deep. Now, when you throw dream yoga into the mix, when you start to lucid dream, there you run into the danger that you have the psychological need for a blackout every night. And if you lose the ability to black out, that can be sometimes a little bit traumatic. Now, that's part of the Bon tradition, to kind of throw you in over your head. That's one of the things my guru did. I went years without a night's sleep, decades, because I was being targeted. for being a non-Christian. And, they were saying, no Jesus, no peace. If you're not a Christian, we won't let you sleep. And so, right now I'm trying to structure my experiences, but I was just kind of going at it, as a pioneer, trying to re-engineer it while I was waiting for the books to come out, or being able to find them, because I had to do a study of the Quran for a while. So there are all kinds of things that you can do with your mind. A lot of people like the safety net of there being a drug and you come down. But I have found that a glass of milk is good for grounding, and that that if you want to intensify the experience, to reduce what you eat, but you don't have to fast completely, but you can keep yourself lean. Just that a lot of these guys are really lean, and that breathing exercises, and all kinds of different things. But you want to do the Mahamudra, where you just sit there and look at your thoughts and don't try to judge them. They are what they are, and work on that, including the bad thoughts and stuff like that. Sitting there in calm awareness while you're depressed or something. Look at your depression and separate it from yourself. It takes a while, and sometimes you forget to do it. And if you don't have enough friends who are knowledgeable about these kinds of things, they don't always say, hey, separate yourself from that, But yeah, I kind of wish that I had some other way of doing things, that it's stigmatizing to have been associated with drugs. But again, I was one of those people that was hanging out with people on drugs because I was mistaken for being on drugs. And, whether I inhaled or not, people couldn't tell the difference.